Not the beast! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
Put the bunny back in the box.
Screw doggy dog. Screw doggy dog. A bomb. Well, it's a bow to the wow, creeping and crawling, yiggy yes yowling, Snoop doggy dogging, and the mother loving house like every day, watching shit movies starring Nicholas Cage. Like I said, all you Nicholas can't fuck with this, and like I said, Nicholas can't fuck with that. Pills that I pop, cause you know it don't stop. Mr. National Treasure from the bottom to the top. Tick tock, never the Glock, just some hot fucking yap. Robbing mother lunkas, then I am Travolta. Then I step through the fog and I creep through the smog. Still say screw dog eat what? Dog eat hoot, dog eat dog. Snoo dog eat dog. Screw dog eat dog. The bomb. Welcome to We Gauge Cage, the podcast where we watch all of Nicolas Cage's films in an effort to determine whether or not this man is actually a good actor. Because we really don't know. We are not familiar enough with his work. My name is Brock, and with me, as always, is the Luigi to my Waluigi.
Oh,
Brian Ambrosius.
Shit. You switched it up on me. I was like, oh, he's going easy today.
Nah, not today. And this
Nice
week,
song.
Thank you. We watched Nicolas Cage's 2016 hit movie, Army of One.
I am actually really, really excited to talk about this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first half is amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Hey,
Yeah.
how you doing?
I'm doing real well.
The last episode was a little controversial.
Can't imagine why.
I'm getting a lot of different reads from people. Some people loved it. You know, obviously referring to the grape, the M&Ming. A lot of people did not like it. They did not like the wet mouth sounds, apparently.
So wet mouth noises are never a good podcasting audio material.
Here's my problem with it, is everybody's like, well, it would be better if we could see it. Like, what's there to see? I have 20 M&Ms in my hand, and I shoved them in my goddamn mouth. What more do you need?
Can't agree with anybody on that. I don't know if it would be better to see. I mean, if they want to see a handful of M&Ms, I can shoot a picture of a handful of M&Ms.
If it would have been a hit, you know, and everyone would have been praising us, and yeah, it's a new challenge, I would have gone bigger. You know, peanut M&Ms today, purple grapes next time, green grapes after that, figs after that, jawbreakers. Like, how big can we go?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's just spoil it right now. In honor of next week's film, the animated classic G-Force, Brian and I are going to swallow live guinea pigs.
Yes!
On the podcast this week. How many do we got?
Get ready for it.
Get wet ready. Or we
get
could just
wetty. Get wet and get ready.
You better get wetty.
You better get wet.
I mean, we could just also do like a Richard Gere situation with these guinea pigs. That could be the new challenge. If we were gauging Richard Gere, then we might go the Richard Gere challenge. I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about.
I do not.
Do you know who the actor Richard Gere is?
I do. Not well.
Pretty Woman? Yeah. So there's a rumor around Hollywood that Richard Gere has a proclivity for sticking live rodents such as gerbils and hamsters and guinea pigs up his rectum.
Cool.
Cheers.
Hey, whatever he wants to do, man. Did you?
Hey, some people have pee fetishes. Some people like rodents running around in their bums.
Dude, can I tell you something that I did not know? Like, what's something that you didn't know until you got, like, ridiculously old?
Ridiculously good looking. What is something that I did, like, what is something that took me way too long to learn?
Yeah.
The Disney D was definitely one of them. But, I mean, I was probably...
I thought it was a Q.
In my 20s for... Yeah, I thought it was like a backwards G. It was the weirdest thing.
It's a bad D.
But like a real common sense thing that like I should have figured out.
Maybe I should have asked you beforehand so you could have thought of something.
Yeah, let me ponder this a little bit.
Here's all I'm going to say. I did not learn this until like several months ago. I thought all eyelashes were black. I did not realize that like people who have really light hair have really light eyelashes. Because, you know, guys for the most part have either like really dark brown or black eyelashes. Girls, they wear a lot of mascara, so then they look black. I did not realize, like, when my wife does not have makeup on, her eyelashes are blonde. Did not know that was a thing until I was like, I could have been 30.
I wouldn't have known that either. I've always been blessed with really dark, long eyelashes. But
because you're a guy.
Relatively blonde hair, blue-eyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, didn't know that. So,
well, hey, good. Dropping some knowledge on you.
Yeah, I learned something new today.
Boom.
Way to go.
Okay.
You learned, you know what I learned relatively later in life? Richard Gere likes to put gerbils of his butt. That is podcast canon. A couple years back.
See, I learned it today. So
yeah, exactly. I taught you something, you taught me something. It's a tete-a-tete. It's a give and take.
Are we burying the lead too?
What lead are we burying?
Hoppy Easter.
Oh yeah, it is Hoppy Easter. I was gonna say when you were talking about swallowing shit, I don't have any more M&Ms, but I do have a ton of like Easter jelly beans.
Eggs? Oh, no, I thought you were gonna say you got Easter eggs.
Oh, that was something. That was a story that like we've slept on for months at this point. So when we were professional grapers, one of the greatest graping stories came from that same day in the cafeteria, the same day that we kicked in the stall door and threw a grape at Matt Bull. You and I were waiting for Matt Bull to finish his business in the bathroom, and I remember you went to the salad bar to go get more grapes, and I was sitting there in my chair like a gentleman and waiting for you to throw like grapes from across the room. And you got about like 10, 12 feet away, and I was like, well, that's not like far enough, but you had your hand behind your back. And so I'm waiting for you to return with more grapes to feed me like a baby bird and a mama bird. And you had this devilish look on your face, and I couldn't really figure out what was going on, but I was determined that I was going to catch this grape from a seated position. And I just remember you like wound up, you whipped like your arm from behind your back and threw this object into the air, and I opened my mouth and I caught it, and it was not a grape. Can you tell the lovely people of the podcast what it actually was that I caught full on in my mouth?
No, now it's a hard-boiled egg.
It was a full hard-boiled egg that I caught in my mouth from like 12 feet distance.
Yeah, you did good.
I'm amazing.
Do you ever try graping anymore?
No. Emily does not partake in the grape nonsense, the grape nanigans, if you will.
When I do get together with like Greg and I try graping with him, he is much better at graping than me. I don't know if he's practicing with his kids or what, but like I can't catch shit in my mouth anymore.
I can't catch shit in my mouth.
Also, what is it about Easter eggs that makes them taste so much better than hard-boiled eggs? Like, you know when you color an egg and you get to crack it and stuff, it just tastes better than a regular hard-boiled egg.
I think it smells more sulfury.
I think it tastes better.
Sure. It's just like the blue M&Ms taste the best out of all the other M&Ms.
Yeah,
They went down a lot easier than those green bastards, I'll tell you that.
Your wife tried to do some raw dogging of the M&Ms last night.
She got to... Did she do 20?
She did 10? She did 10.
I think she did 10, and then one came back up.
Yep, so she would have lost.
Yeah.
See, if you had 21, because I spit one up...
beautiful, my gag reflex equipped wife, I guess. I don't know how I want to finish that or where I want to go with that trail. Also, speaking of Greg, shout out to young Greg, and as a proud member of the Gregernauts, I was going to say that truly you threw me and Susie into your Rumble crew, but if I were you and I was going to go assemble a Rumble crew, I would have just picked Greg and Randy, straight up. The two little brothers.
No.
They're both bigger than you. So
Yeah,
I
they're
would
not
have
bigger
chosen
than
your
you.
two bigger little brothers to be in your Rumble crew.
They're not bigger than you.
They're big dudes. Yeah, but
They're not-
They're tougher. Both of
They're
them.
not as crazy as Susie.
Both.
You work out like all the time. You work out. You're underselling yourself right now, man.
I just recently hit my 200th check-in at the gym. Got a new pair
Remember
of boxing gloves.
remember all those podcasts ago when I said you had inspired me
Yeah.
to work out?
How'd that work
And I got
out
up
for
to
you?
like 3 or 4 days.
Oh, you're a workout man. How's that working out for you?
I got to 4.
4.
4 days.
Yeah, and you were insulting that woman trainer the entire time.
Oh, she's a bitch.
She is a bitch.
Yep. Are you ready? Do you have something?
Yeah, I want to play a little game. No, let's get into this movie for our true fans who come here for premium movie review content.
Dude, that's what I don't get. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of our
guys,
listeners...
we're never going to make anybody happy. We're not going to make... I doubt we're making anybody happy at any point in time.
A lot of our listeners are family and friends, and they tell us how much they like our banter.
now.
And then we banter for 45 minutes, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Oh, I listened for 40 minutes, and I didn't get a movie. Hey, whose podcast is this?
We promise no more wet mouth sounds for... It'll for Lent. How about that? We gave up more wet mouth sounds for Lent.
I can't guarantee that.
Lent
If
literally
you
lasts-
come on shirtless
Lent
again,
literally
like,
lasts
the
for,
mouth sounds are
another
coming.
day. Well, that's true. That's just because you're just going to have to be wiping up drool.
Yeah. All right.
You guys.
Like Brock said.
I'm feeling good. I got done with a real wicked workout today. Looking good, feeling good. It's happening. It's all happening.
Marky
Living
Mark,
my
man.
best life.
Marky Mark, look good, feel good.
Look good, feel good. Look good, feel good. You look good, you feel good.
All right. The
All
movie,
right.
Army of One. You could have warned me last week that it was a comedy. I thought it was
I texted
serious.
you. What did I say? I'll look to see what I texted you when I was watching.
We've
this
had a
movie.
lot of texts. What was it about? You said something like in the first 10 minutes or something, you'll be saying the same thing as me? Something like that?
I said,
And I didn't.
I said, I'm watching Army of One, and then I texted, enter, ... Yep.
Yeah,
mean-
what am I supposed to take of that?
You're supposed to read a lot into that. I said it all right there.
I will say this. The first half of this movie is one of my favorite movie experiences with Nic Cage since Deadfall.
Yeah.
Very, very Deadfall-esque. We're getting a lot of good lines. I have
All right.
pages of lines. I'm sure you do too.
I
So-
didn't because I was watching this on my computer, but I was sitting far back, like on my couch, to the point where I didn't want to like be in control
your
of the
job.
mouse and like pause it at all. So like if stuff happened, I just wasn't like gonna pause. I tried to write down what I could remember. There were no subtitles, and I was just like, we'll give it a shot.
How long
See
did
what
it take
shook
you to
out.
realize this was actually based off a real person?
So I think I thought it was, I have like at the very top, news report, true-ish story, but only until like the very end did I realize it was a real story. I thought maybe
That's
it was
what
like
I'm saying.
based off. But
Right.
No. Okay. Let's get
So
into
the
it.
but
So it
I just
starts
wanna-
with the
this
news
is right
report.
at the start anyway. The narrator is saying, he has a voiceover saying like, this is based off a true story, and he's like, well, it's based off true events. And he's like, well, kind of, or whatever, like something
Yeah.
like that. So I thought that was just the movie trying to be funny. I didn't realize they were actually saying like, hey, no, we drew these from a guy named, what's his name, Gary
Faulkner.
Gary Faulkner. So he really is a gentleman who lived in Colorado, who tried to go to Pakistan to kill bin Laden. This is a real guy. I don't
Yes.
know. And Nic Cage, I watched a quick interview with him just because I had a lot of time to kill this afternoon while I was waiting for you. I watched an interview about this movie, and he
Are you
said
just trying
he
to like
met-
slip in a fucking dig at me? Like
No,
that?
I'm saying
trying to just
I
slip
watched,
that in there? Okay,
I
bud.
watched an interview where someone was asking him about Army of One, and he said that he went and talked to Gary and like kind of learned his mannerisms and stuff.
Okay. Nope.
I was going to say, I don't know if Gary was like high on drugs or something when Nic Cage went and talked to him, because Nic Cage is way off.
We're going to get into that right now. We're not even going to. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Cards on the table. Let's get into it right now. You guys. And Brian, I would very much enjoy I would very much enjoy it if you inserted a clip of the David Letterman interview with the real live Gary Faulkner.
I was going to wait till after
here.
the Pete Cage moments.
Nope.
Well, I was going to wait.
Fucking put it in
right now,
right here, because people got to know.
Because we're gonna mimic it.
Gary Faulkner sounds like.
Right here.
The thing is that there's a lot of people that talk, okay? And this is one of our downsides as our society is. We got some good people here and stuff, but the problem is too many people talk, too little action. Me, I'd rather do the action and we'll talk later.
Okay. So that was him.
Now, Nic Cage met the real Gary Faulkner and spoke with this man, and this could have been a biopic. This could have been like a mockumentary, documentary style, but Nic Cage could have just played this character. Nope. Nic Cage must have gotten a note that said, hey, this is what this guy did, and he's kind of a bit of an eccentric man. And Nic Cage said, no. Say no more. I got it. And they're like, no, but do you want to like hear like some interviews or maybe like talk? No. I got it. And it was like, wait, what are you doing there?
I got it. Don't worry, I got it.
Well,
hey guys,
Nick,
remember in Doggy Dog when we made fun of Willem Dafoe's voice?
Yeah.
Kind of similar. Oh, here's what I think happened.
Oh.
Did you, for Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp came in with a character in mind, and the Disney execs hated it. But the director kind of stood up for Johnny Depp, was like, no, let's let him do it. Maybe that's what's going on here, where the director was like, no, this is Nic Cage. Like, I can tell he has a plan for this. And then they got halfway through it, and the director probably realized his mistake, but it was too late.
Yeah. And, who tells Nick no? Nobody tells Nick no, as far as I can tell.
All right, let's get to where he talks really quick. So, narrator says that Gary is a part-time construction worker with bad kidneys.
Yes.
Claims he was visited by God to capture Bin Laden himself. We see a quick cut of Nic Cage screaming while he's hang gliding, and the hang glider has a USA flag.
Dressed up like Evel Knievel, for all intents and purposes. He's wearing he's USA'd out. He's wearing America to the nines.
And Brock, maybe before we even start talking anymore, hey, do you think Nic Cage is a racist? If you were unsure, you'll have your answer in this movie.
If there was a shred of doubt that Nic Cage was just a hint racist, then that shred has been absolutely decimated by a samurai sword of Nic Cage's sheer audacity and sheer love of shouting racist things in the context of a movie script that probably were not written into that script originally.
In his interview, what's the gal from Reno 911's name?
Wendy McClendon. Wendy.
The interviewer asked him about Wendy, and he said, oh, she was real fun to work with. She's so funny, and we improv'd a lot, and she could really hang with me. So, you're right. A lot of these lines are probably coming from his head himself.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that quick hang gliding thing, Russell Brand comes through as God, and it goes to a flashback, and that's where God first talks to Nic Cage.
Yeah. So it's Nic Cage as a little kid getting bullied, and some kids come by and pop his balloon. So the voice of God, which is Russell Brand's voice, comes in and basically says hey, are you going to let those kids pop your balloon? No, you're going to stand up for what's right. Here I give you a sword, and it's like a balloon that was on a stick, and so now he's got this balloon stick. And God says, you're going to use this sword to, punish the evildoers and, stand up as, my pillar of righteousness and, my knight. You are my shining knight, and this is your sword. That's pretty much all you got to know about this scene.
Yep.
Okay, so this little kid, hallucinates and Well, whatever.
Already at
Talks to God.
he's 12. You know, he's really little. He's young.
Sure.
Cuts to 35 years later, which again is young for Nic Cage, is young for how he looks in this movie.
So he is sleeping in a construction site, like a prefab building, and
in a home.
and wakes up to a phone call, I believe.
Hey, now wait, what is he sleeping in though?
He's sleeping in a sleeping bag. There's not a bed.
A USA flag sleeping bag.
And he gets a phone call, wakes up, yells okay, now here's where it happens. This is our official. So the
not really
on the
I would argue
handwriter
the
was
scene
technically
after
our Nitro, which was him with a big white beard and and long hair, and he was yelling shit on a hang glider. But you're okay, this happens, and you know that it flashes back. This is him sitting bolt upright, and the very first thing that he does into the phone is,
Pickles! Oh my god! What are you doing? I'm gonna go to your place. Okay, oh my god!
and I'm
Pickles. That was
whoa,
Pickles, by the way.
Whoa. Oh, he's gonna do a voice. Oh, this is Nick. Okay, this is what choices he made for this movie. Again,
Here's what I'll...
Now, I would like Brian to insert that clip or any clip of him talking so that you get a sense of what we had to put up with through the whole movie. Let's not save it till the end.
No, but that's not a great clip because there's a narrator. The next scene is perfect. I will put the next scene in.
Of him doing dialysis?
Yes, because this one, the narrator starts talking. It's kind of hard to hear Nic Cage talking. I will say Nic Cage kind of comes out of his sleeping bag. He's wearing briefs.
Yes.
He has a very ugly beard, very scraggly, thin, white hair, looks old as shit. Cuts to him at dialysis. This is amazing, people. He starts ranting about chicken wings. You know, the worst part about dialysis is they won't let you eat chicken wings. And then he starts talking about how America makes the best chicken wings.
Yes.
But I've never been, not saying that I've been to Africa and had chicken wings, but I'd be willing to bet the right bull, but I'd be willing to bet the right ball on a broke dick dog that no place makes better wings than they do here.
Nailed it.
And I will insert that right here.
Worst part of having this bad kidney, getting dialysis 3 times a week, is they won't let me eat chicken wings. Man, this country makes the best goddamn chicken wings in the world. Now, I haven't seen the whole world. I haven't tasted chicken wings in Africa. But I'd be willing to bet the right ball on a broke dick dog that no place makes better wings than they do here.
Okay. We are not doing a terrible job at impressions. This is not hey, we're trying to do a Scottish accent and we sound like a fucking pirate. This is not we're trying to do a Jamaican accent and we end up somewhere in Ireland. This is pretty good. But this is what we have to do. This is what we have to put up with this entire movie. And so right away, we're just so that's a choice. Again, now this is before Brian and I know that that's not the real guy. We find that out after we watch this film.
But right at the end, there's a quick clip of him in the credits. And you just kind of catch a few glimpses of him talking. And I was like, wait, that didn't sound that weird. So I looked up an interview, which I played earlier now. And yeah, it's not right. And
you can look up Letterman, Gary Faulkner. But this guy's, he's kind of a weird dude. He has some pretty weird beliefs and thoughts. But he doesn't sound like a batshit crazy person. So they must have came to this man and said, hey, Gary, what's your story, man? And they got him an interview and they said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy the rights to your story. How does $1 million sound? And he said, yeah. Well, no,
he said, yeah.
He said, yeah, that sounds okay. Because that's how the fuck Gary Faulkner talks. And they said, okay, cool. By the way, we're going to make you sound like an asshole. Okay, bye. And he was like, wait, what? What was that? And they were like, no. They're just going to be a huge fucking douchebag. In Nic Cage is going to completely ruin your life and make you sound like a fucking crazy person, psycho asshole. Bye. He was like, oh, no, I didn't catch that. What did you say? Okay, bye.
Oh, Randy's going to love this part.
They sold his rights. They got to make him an asshole.
Randy told me his ears want to bleed when he hears us go, bye. Wow. But you know what, Randy? It's our fucking podcast.
Hey, Randy.
Guys, Brock, Here's what I'll say.
Sorry.
Here's what I'll say about Nic Cage's accent. At least the fucker keeps it the whole film.
No, he doesn't.
There's a few times where
he doesn't.
It fades out. Actually, the whole last half is not as strong
Nick
as it is
ever
right
has
now.
to yell, the accent disappears.
But it's a lot better than a lot of his other accent work that he's done. Like, you could tell this was a character he tried to develop for a week, maybe, before he came to film. Okay, guys, but we're still at dialysis.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, he starts talking about how America's great again and the Americans and whatever. And he goes, some people claim you can't quantify kick assedness. These are usually people whose asses have recently been kicked.
Gary has some beliefs. There's a lot of them.
Else.
He's a true patriot. He's fairly crazy. I do have a note right at the top that says Nic Cage can't quite hold the voice like the whole time.
Really?
It keeps leaking out. It leaks in and out a little bit. Like there are some moments of Nick coming through the more long-winded he gets.
The first 8 minutes or so, because there's this scene and then there's a scene where he's like shopping, which we'll get to in a second. The accent is steam.
Shopping or at the
annoying customers? Yeah, at Home Depot.
Yeah.
There's like the first 8 minutes, the accent is coming through thick and strong, and I freaking love it.
Yeah. Okay, so now he's in a
dialysis.
bar. He's in a bar with Pickles, whose Pickles is played by Paul Scheer, which is funny because Paul Scheer does a podcast about terrible movies called The Worst, or not The Worst Idea, sorry, How Did This Get Made? Great podcast if you want to check it out. And
he listens.
I remember
shout out Paul Scheer.
Yeah, shout out Paul Scheer. I remember he actually talked about doing this movie with Nick way back in the day.
Was he excited?
Yeah, he said it was a fun experience and that Nick was a nice guy. That's all I really remember from him talking about it. But
he also has one more friend.
Played by Will Sasso.
Roy.
Yeah.
Roy. He's famous for Mad TV.
Yeah, Mad TV. He's done a couple other like comedy movies. And there's a news report about Osama bin Laden and Iraq and Iran and all that and 9/11. And Gary,
Brock, right before that though, Nic Cage has to throw in that he hates foreign beers.
He hates foreign beers.
Anyone who drinks foreign beers can just get the fuck out.
Domestic beers all the way because he's a true patriot.
Yes, guys.
And then he's talking about how basically like the military is effing up over. And I know I've dropped a couple F-bombs, but I will try to restrain myself. I get a little excited.
Why do you have to apologize for that, man?
I don't know. The military is effing
fine.
up over there, and all they need is like somebody who with true passion who really wants to catch Osama bin Laden. And in case you were wondering which one, and like he could do such a better job. Okay, so then retired Marine, I'm assuming, comes over and is like, "Excuse me."
Why would you think why would you assume? Because of the USMC hat he's wearing?
And because he's old as shit.
And because of the 4 other people wearing USMC hats?
Yeah, he's relatively old. And so he comes over and he's like, "What do you like? You got something to say?" And so Gary turns to him, and this is like where you could insert the clip. I don't know. And he's like,
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something right. Like, I really enjoy what you guys are doing over there, and you're doing. Like, I thank you for your service, but, like, you're fucking around, and I... Blah, blah, blah.
And so, anyway...
They're botching up the plan to get Bin Laden. Look, I know I'm a Leo, but it's easier for a mouse to get into a castle than it is for a lion. I'd go in there and I'd boost that fucker right out from underneath their noses.
Hey, buddy. You think you could do a better job over there? Is that what you're saying?
You're a Marine.
I am a Marine.
Well, that's awesome. Listen, I really appreciate what you boys are doing over there, and I understand the price of freedom, the sacrifice. But look, you got your program, and I got mine. That's all. But let me buy you a drink. What do you have?
Eventually, he gets into a point where, like, he challenges the guy, or he says he's going to buy the guy a drink, but then it turns into a knife-throwing contest at a dartboard, where he says, like, if he makes it closer to the bullseye, those guys will leave him alone, and if they make it closer, then he's going to buy everybody in the bar a drink.
Nic Cage, the reason, like, it kind of, the Marine Corps guy, like, was, hey, you got a problem or whatever. Nic Cage said something about, like, an analogy of, like, it's harder to notice a mouse than a lion. So he's like saying he's a mouse. He can just squeeze in there and get it rather than this big line. And then the guy, like when Nic Cage offered to buy him a drink, the guy was just like, what are you going to pay with your unemployment check? So that's what kind of got Nic Cage riled up, pulled out his like 8-inch blade or whatever. But yeah, now they're throwing it at a dartboard. Roy had gone to the bathroom earlier.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
So it's just Paul Scheer and Nic Cage in this Marine now. The Marine throws it, and he gets like 4 inches
close
from the bullseye.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad.
Does pretty well. And
Out
then
of nowhere,
Nick says, like,
yeah.
if I had a nickel for every time somebody got close to the bullseye, blah, 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 blah. And so Nick, like, is looking at the Marine and then looks at the dartboard and throws it.
Which, also, the camera cuts to the dartboard, and there's no one around it.
Correct.
And then Nic Cage throws it, and all of a sudden, Roy is just there.
Roy, like, literally jumps in front of the freaking knife and catches it in the shoulder blade.
I had to rewind it because I didn't understand. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Was Roy there? No, Roy
somehow magically
he apparated
appears,
right there.
To which he says, oh no, not again.
And then the narrator says, no, this is the 4th time or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
Roy, you think you'd be looking out when Nic Cage is like, if this keeps happening, just watch where you're walking out of the bathroom.
Especially
Maybe
when
like
you're
yell,
walking-
hey, Nick, you throwing knives?
Yeah, or don't walk in front of the dartboard when Nick's around, I guess. I don't know.
All
Anyway. Okay.
Another great scene right
now
here.
we get to the hardware store.
Out of nowhere.
Nick is so Gary is a like handyman / kind of construction worker-ish guy, and he's in a hardware store.
He's
Guys,
almost like...
have we mentioned that he's a true patriot and he has a few ideas about American things versus foreign things? Take it away, Brian.
Like an idiot savant or something, because he actually is good at some of the things he says he does.
He's like Rain Man. But
Nic Cage, or Gary, is not buying anything at this hardware store, but there are people shopping with the workers there, and Nic Cage just walks by one and goes, why would you buy a shower head from a country that doesn't take showers?
yes.
Someone's looking at a toilet. Don't buy that toilet. That toilet was made in Africa. Pygmies made that toilet, and they take small shits. Your turd, your potty, your poo, as it were, won't make it. Won't make it past the flusher.
Spot on impression, everybody.
One more. Oh wait, maybe
Look,
there's not one
watch
more.
this movie if you want to, but we're doing the work. We're doing the heavy lifting right here for you.
I guess that is okay. And now he runs into Wendy, whose character name is Marcy.
Marcy.
And she's like, Gary, is that you? And he goes, Marcy, I've had so many fantasies about you in high school. I must have gone through about 100 boxes of Kleenex.
Which she says, that's kind of gross, but then it's like, yeah, okay. Like, okay, so they're high school friends.
But she's like, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that's kind of gross, but I'll take it. It's flattering.
Okay. What happens? What do they talk? Oh, he says he's going to get her a sundae or something.
Yeah, and they say, like, oh, yeah, let's meet up. They kind of catch up of, like, okay, you know, she only dates losers, I remember her saying, and whatever, and
she's got like 3 jobs because she took on her daughter or her sister's kid because her sister's a drug addict.
No, her sister passed away. Straight up
because she was
passed
on
away
drugs
and OD'd, and so yeah, she's watching her sister's daughter who has, oh boy, is it multiple
scoliosis?
Is it,
no, not scoliosis.
No,
I don't remember.
Multiple sclerosis, MS, or she has like cystic fibrosis or something.
She's in a wheelchair and she's a mute.
She's mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to know. She genuinely seems to like Gary, which I found fascinating.
It's
because Marcy, whatever you want to call her character's name is Marcy. She's a fine-looking lady.
Yes.
And
relatively
Gary
well-adjusted.
Is not.
Relatively well-adjusted. But the way and okay, looking at the real Gary and listening to the real Gary, he doesn't seem like he's that bad. He's probably weird and says some weird stuff. And I know people, and I have like people in my family that are. Oh, sorry if anybody in my family is listening to this podcast. You know who you are, or you don't. But like I know people that are weird and have like some weird tendencies and say some weird things. But yeah, why would she be interested in this person and like want to hang out with him?
The biggest problem people seem to have with Gary...
Why would she want to hang out with Nick? Sorry. I can see why people would want to hang out with the real Gary. He doesn't seem like he's that bad.
Even
but
the real
Nick's
Gary...
version of Gary... I don't know why he would have friends or...
Even the real Gary, the biggest problem people seem to have with him is just that he likes to talk. That's what I gathered from watching my interview with Nic Cage, and like I watched like another story about it, and he likes to talk. Who cares? He obviously has some weird thoughts if he thinks God talked to him and told him to go kill Osama bin Laden, but
Capture.
Yeah, sorry, capture, not kill. That will be clear.
We'll get to that.
Well, let's get into it. Guys, we're only 8 minutes into this movie.
Oh, yeah, because
it has been gold. It has been gold so far. But now we go back to another dialysis appointment, and now
Pickles kicks him out of the... So he's been crashing on Pickles' couch for apparently weeks. The timeline of this movie is really hard to get a handle on. But Pickles kicks him out and says, like, hey, man, you got to get out of here. Like, you're too loud at night and, like, waking my wife up. So he goes to his dialysis appointment, and this is where he sees Russell Brand in the flesh.
In the flesh, and like on the curtains and on the screen of his dialysis machine.
He's through other people's mouths and stuff.
Which actually I thought was kind of... Yeah. I thought it was fine. It was kind of a cool way to kind of show Nic Cage going a little crazy here. Basically,
I don't know a lot about dialysis, but it's even been said, like, if Nick doesn't do all of his dialysis, like, a complication of not doing dialysis is that you'll have hallucinations.
That's a little bit later, and I was going to kind of save it till we got there because I'm just saying, like, up to this point, like, I get the Russell Brand thing is not, like, that's in his head or whatever. But my question later, so, I mean, you've already said it, but my question later is just, like, how much of this is he hallucinating? Like, I put at one point, is this almost like a Shallow Hal when he's talking to Wendy and, like, kisses her? And I'm just like, is she actually ugly, but in his hallucinated mind, she's hot? Like,
that's true.
I don't know. It's weird.
Is he such an unreliable narrator that, like, we can't trust a dang thing that weird being shown through his lens? Kind of thing?
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. God tells him to capture bin Laden, not to kill him, but that he has to go there. He has to capture him. Now he goes to Marcy's house and he meets the daughter who he hits it off with. She like we said, she's a wheelchair. She's wheelchair bound. She's a mute. So he starts talking to her about power animals. And did you write down what he said?
I didn't write down what he said. I just have the gist of it.
Mine's the donkey.
Yes.
Mine's the donkey. Now, my dad used to call me a jackass when I was a kid, and I took it as a compliment. Or, like, he switches it. I didn't write any more than that, but basically, his dad called him a jackass.
I want to introduce you to Lizzie. She's got some challenges. She doesn't talk.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody talks, but only the real smart ones don't use their mouths, right, Lizzie? And you have got a killer smile, which can be used both as a friendly thing and also as a weapon, which I'm sure you're already aware of. Nonetheless, it's great to finally meet you. Lizzie, have you got a power animal? Like a spirit animal? Like a guide? I'll bet you do. See, mine's the donkey. Now, my dad used to call me a jackass when I was a kid. And at first I thought it was an insult, and then I realized it's a compliment because jackasses are true, hardworking, and loyal. Now, what's your power animal? The seagull. Good choice.
So he's the Donkey King, but donkeys are very hardworking and sturdy and trustworthy animals. And so that...
Hey, how's that working out for you?
Yes. And then he says, what about you? What is yours? And then he waits for a beat, and then he says...
Because she doesn't say anything.
Seagull.
And he goes,
that's a great choice.
Yeah, a good choice. And then
so he's got away with kids in this movie. He doesn't abuse her, by the way.
No.
I'm just going to say it right now. Doesn't abuse this kid. Thank God.
No, they have a nice little relationship. Just like his relationship with Marcy. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But Nic Cage brought over 3 sundaes, because that's what he said he was going to do, bring over sundaes. One had butterscotch, one had chocolate, and one was mint chocolate chip. And so he turns to her and he's like, now, what would you like, butterscotch or chocolate? I personally am a butterscotch fan. I'm a butterscotch fan myself. I could eat that all day. Waits a beat. A butterscotch? Well, god damn it! Looks like I'm having chocolate again.
Butterscotch or chocolate? I'm a butterscotch man myself, but I can go either way. Just like to make sure everybody's happy with the sundaes and stuff. Butterscotch. God damn it. Looks like I'm having chocolate again.
Yeah, and it's just so I mean it's a cute little scene. But yeah, so he's really smitten with this little girl, and she's a sweetie. She doesn't have to do much besides smile anytime. But you can tell that she also really likes Nic Cage. So it's like, okay, I get it.
For Marcy,
and he says something to Marcy too.
Mint chocolate chip.
Well, yeah, but he also, and so that sets up this like trope of this movie, a recurring joke where basically like he gives the little girl like these extravagant gifts and like basically whatever she wants and like these over the top gifts, and then always just like dicks Marcy out with like the worst gift ever.
At one point, she gets rocks.
Yeah, we'll get there. Hopefully,
yeah.
But yeah.
But
so
all I was
this starts
say
that
is that Marcy likes mint chocolate chip, and Nic Cage hands it to her, and she's like, "Well, how did you remember that?" And he goes, "Mine like a steel trap." Pew! And like does something off his head.
Yeah, that's a steel trap.
Yep.
Yes, he's got these mannerisms that are just he's making choices that some of them are working, some of them are questionable. Okay, so he tells Marcy of his plans, and his big plan is that he wants to sail to Pakistan. Because how hard can it be? Pirates did it.
No,
the Pilgrims did it.
Yeah,
and like, how hard could it be to sail? Does he know anything about Pakistan?
If you're going to sail to Pakistan, though, where are you going to start if you're sailing to Pakistan? You got to be in the United States. Where are you starting?
I would probably start on the East Coast.
Probably like New York, maybe. Like that would be a nice little go over the Atlantic.
Potentially.
And then you go through the Mediterranean Sea, whatever. Nope.
No.
Nic Cage is starting in San Diego.
He'll get there. Well, starting around California. Isn't he like, okay, so he's from Denver, but he's living in LA at this point? Is that what I'm
No, he's still in Denver, but he went and bought the boat like in San Diego or something. But
sure.
But
okay.
His whole plan, what is he going to do? He basically says like
line that says, sometimes things are so sane that they are beyond our comprehension. And I was just like, okay, so is that going to be like the tagline for this movie?
Yes, he does have a lot of lines like that. So after he tells Marcy of his plan to go from San Diego,
he also
said that they're going to go to Las Vegas to make some extra cash.
Now,
because she asked how he's going to pay.
He has some money. He says, you'd be surprised what kind of money you can save up by sleeping on job sites all the time and not paying rent and stuff like that, or like not paying his bills and sleeping on job sites. And it's like, fair enough. He's also just been kind of couch surfing and crashing with people. So
after hearing,
he's gonna go to Vegas though.
After hearing all this shit, God spoke to him. He's going to San Diego, gonna go there, going to Las Vegas to make more money. Marcy kisses him.
Yeah.
Somehow, she finds this endearing.
Yeah. And like, yeah, that's what I don't get.
I was grossed out.
I don't get it.
I was grossed out myself.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as she started getting close to that scraggly beard, I was just like, oh, that does not look fun.
I mean, she's told us, like, yeah, she ends up dating losers. And I was like, so he's not necessarily a loser. I mean, he's a nice guy. I'm sure he will treat her well. But what has he shown you that would, like, endear you to kiss this man at this point? The romantic storyline of this movie was unnecessary and just completely unwarranted.
It has to be from the past. Like, it can't be from what she's hearing now because, hey, at least he's motivated, I guess, right?
Sure. All right, let's get to Vegas.
To Las Vegas.
Because it's a Nic Cage movie. He's got to get to a casino or a strip club somehow.
I was going to say, unfortunately, no strip clubs, but hey, this is the next best thing. As he enters, he makes sure he brings Ray and Pickles with him, and as they walk in, he says, "Guys, this is God's house. We can't lose," and he can't. He's playing all the games. He is winning
every game.
A crowd is forming around him. They're all loving it, but there's like three kind of weird people.
Yeah,
are they supposed to be Mexicans? Because like one's white and one's black.
Mexican-ish, sure.
Yeah. But there's like these three Mexicans.
Yeah, this one actor, like I recognize him. He's been in a few things. I think he was in the Johnny Knoxville movie, The Ringer. He's been in a few other movies that I've seen. But anyway, but yes, this guy is like literally standing behind Nick at like every table, just like watching him, and you don't really know what his deal is. Right. But he's there in like every different scene as Nick is like winning at blackjack, winning at and like roulette, hitting on like stupid slots, hands at blackjack, like winning at slots, craps.
It's Austin Powers. Like,
yes,
I'll also hit. And,
I also,
sir, you
like
have 19.
Dangerously.
Yeah. But anyway, so after they're all done winning, they kind of head back up to their hotel room, and Nic Cage is walking down the hall alone, runs into these three Mexicans. Calls them Colombians.
Yes.
And because, again, got to be a little racist.
Yes, and says, like, Colombian drug lords, huh? Like, well, you're in my way, and, like, you're in God's way. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, we're Mexicans. We're here for, like, a tequila convention.
But they speak in Spanish only. Nic Cage speaks in English only, but somehow they do talk back and forth to each other.
But he understands.
I actually thought these lines were a little funny.
This isn't my first rodeo, hombre.
And then they go, oh, wait, there's a rodeo in town? Maybe we should check that out. Like, so they're kind of talking to each other, understanding each other.
It is a funny little tete-a-tete, yeah.
But then...
But again, I just have another note that says, like, he's racist. Like, there are moments of racism that just bleed out of Nick at any opportunity. Okay.
Nic Cage finally at the end of all of it just yells,
"Yes,
stay out of Pakistan!"
No.
And then they beat the shit out of him.
No, they tell him to stay out of Pakistan.
Oh, that's right.
As they are beating the crap out of him because, like, he, I think, pulls his sword or a knife, and then they, like...
He does something to initiate
Yes, and then they, like, beat him up, and they aren't like thugs. They are literally just like three dudes there for the tequila convention. But again, unreliable narrator. You don't know if like we're seeing what Nick is seeing in his head or like what's actually happening. And so like they beat him up quickly with like the hotel like trays that people leave outside of their rooms.
We learn very quickly because the next morning
and a vacuum
he wakes
cleaner,
up,
which I thought was a good touch.
The next morning, he wakes up and like screams, like,
again,
"Oh no!"
Wakes up bolt upright, like from a dead sleep. The same thing with the construction site. He just loves to wake up and yell first thing in the morning.
And he yells something like, "Oh no! They took my money!
The Colombians stole my money!"
Yeah, and Pickles goes, "No, we lost the money at the tables. You should have quit while you were ahead."
Yes.
So again, that is putting the unreliable narrator. That fight did not happen.
Or the fight happened, but they didn't take his money.
I don't think it did.
He didn't have any money.
Right after this is when they start talking about the hallucinations. I think it was all in his head. He was sleeping,
maybe.
He came up with a story to lose his money.
He saw those guys, and he just invented that story.
God couldn't make him lose that money, so he had to come up with a story for why he lost that money.
Sure. I'm with you. I'm with you, man.
So he does go to the doctor after this, and he asks the doctor to donate to a charity. And
this is where it says the pre-dialysis hallucinations. Okay. Yeah.
Right. And the doctor's kind of like, well, okay, what is the charity, Gary? And he's like, well, I'm going to go to Pakistan, and I'm going to sail around the world, and I'm going to get Bin Laden, and blah, blah, blah. And the doctor's like,
yeah, no.
What?
I'm not going to give you that. And he's like, I just need $1,000. And he's like, nope, not going to do it. And then he says,
okay, here's a real story. I found myself a real sweet girl, and I want to get engaged to her. And an engagement ring that I really like costs $1,000, but I can't swing it. And I'll pay you back in $250 a month, kind of thing. And so that's what the doctor says. Yeah, okay, I'll help you out just this time.
And as the doctor walks out, Nic Cage takes one hand, slaps his forehead, has his other hand about chest high, slaps his hand back and forth.
I don't
know why. I don't know why, but yeah, slap head.
He's making choices, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Oh, okay.
So
my God,
we're treated to a scene.
I am worn out.
Where he's smoking weed and talking to like this stoner sailboat salesman
guy who has a sailboat.
Sales.
It's real shitty.
Salesman. sailboatsman.
It's a regular guy. It's in his backyard. It's
Yes.
beat up. It's not a good
He's
sailboat.
got muscles on it, and Nick asks if he can scrape those off and eat them, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, sure."
He's like, yeah. He's like, hey, would you have some scuba gear that I could also buy? So as I'm sailing out there, I can just go underneath, scrape them off, and then I can eat them up aboard.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, hey, all you gotta do is go get a scuba mask and a snorkel, and you can do that. And the
Yeah.
guy's okay.
Yeah. So he buys this boat, and then he's got it parked at the slip, and a cop comes up, and there's a confrontation where the cop says, like, hey, you can't park at this slip. And he's like,
What are you talking about? Like, you're impeding upon my mission to go capture Osama bin Laden.
and the cop is
And
like,
Nic Cage has a
"What?"
cast on his arm too,
Yes.
though. You're like, so I was like, wait, I was like, ooh, is that an editing mistake?
Yeah.
because
I'm like, did we not see
all suddenly
something?
as a cast.
And she says, like, do you even know how to sail? And he says,
Well, no, but I'm a quick learner. That's why I broke my arm here trying to raise the sail.
and you're like,
But he really
Oh,
struggles with raised because he's
my.
like, well, when I was trying to bring up, hoist the sail.
yes. So, again, the timeline is a little spotty, but we get there. It lets us know what's going on, even if it tells us like shit that happened like a week ago. So, okay. While the cop is like calling for backup, he just unlooses the boat and she's asking him too, like, are you prepared? Do you have a life jacket? Do you have like a flare? Do you have all that? And he's like, nope. And
This is where he says,
just-
like, all I gotta do is just start going and I'll hit land
yes,
or something like
so
that.
he like unties the boat and just takes off. And we see like we're treated to like a little graphic of like the west coast of America, and then we see like a little line of like the boat. And I know I'm doing hand motions that you can't see, everybody. Don't worry, we'll make sure that we record this and we post it up on the YouTube. So there's like a little loop-de-loop line that basically like shows him getting about half a mile out, and then
no,
or whatever.
it's like 10, 20 miles.
maybe
He is
we
far
don't
enough
really
away to
know.
probably-
But basically, he does a couple
Yeah.
loop-de-loops, and then he ends up crashing on the shore. And he wakes up, and he's surrounded by a bunch of Spanish-speaking folk, and
We're presumed, we knew they were Mexicans based off the map.
so basically, he crash lands in Mexico, and somehow gets like sent back home, and he goes back to Marcy right away. And this is where we're treated to like him the second time, where he buys the little girl like a gift of Mexican
Shells. No,
Shells.
he picked up
Oh,
a bunch of cool
bunch of
shells.
cool
Each one has a
seashells.
story. He's like, this one's like a talon, and this one's like a staircase, and this one you could use as a brush. So he has all these stories for these shells that he bought her. And
And then
what did
for
he get
Marcy,
here?
he gets her a little bottle, a little mini bottle that says San Diego. So he
They
gets,
had like sand in it or something.
yes, a little thing that says like San Diego's
Oh,
cool.
So Marcy, see, this is what I like.
Yeah,
I think
these little
I
jokes are
kind of
working.
laughed at this. The first half of this movie, I actually enjoyed, and we'll get to it when I talk about my rating. But I was enjoying the hell out of myself. So Marcy asks him,
Oh,
like, "Hey,
Wendy
aren't
McClendon
you-
Covey is also the mom on the Goldbergs. I'm sorry, in case other
Yeah,
people.
that's fine.
Yeah, she's the mom on the Goldbergs. She was also on Reno 911. Anyway,
She asks him about dialysis, and Nick goes, "Well, first of all, the good Lord protects his sacred warriors. That's first of all. I forget second of all."
yes. So why'd you bring it up? Who cares?
And this is where, right after that, or shortly after that, Marcy
Oh,
calls
yes.
him a stud.
And
That's where I put
Yes.
shallow hell. I was like, is this really happening? This pretty girl is falling for this weird guy?
And I have a line that says, pardon my French, but how the fuck does Marcy want to fuck him right now? But
Do they bang right here?
Yes.
They do bang at some point. in
no,
this
they
movie.
do. Like, we are led to
It's
infer.
led to imply.
We're led to infer that they have sex because, like, they kiss, and then she says, like, "Oh, I'm not sure how this works
Oh.
anymore." And he says, "Well, do you want to go upstairs and see if we can figure it out?"
But
You're raising
before-
your hand like a
Yeah.
kindergartner. What?
Because before he kisses her, he asks
Oh, yes.
her.
And
just
this
like
is a
I
big-
did to Leah.
yes.
And she says, "Oh, a gentleman, yeah."
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, See, I knew that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Worked for Gary, worked for me.
100% of the time so far, we got a 100% success rate.
Yep. Oh, yeah. This is where I say they bang, he sees God. Oh,
so now,
because after they bang, they go downstairs.
After they bang, like, we never see them bang, but we're always treated to, like, the post-bang, him watching TV in his tighty whities. Like, every time.
Well, they're gray. They're briefs.
They're tighty grays.
They might be tighty whities.
They might have
dirty.
started off as tighty whities.
Yep. But yeah, so now the TV's on. It's like 3 a.m. probably. It's late. She's sleeping on his lap. He sees God on TV,
On the
Russell
Home
Brand,
Shopping
every
Network.
single channel. And it gets to one where God has this beautiful lady in a bikini standing next to him, and he's trying to sell a sword. And he basically says, Gary, this is for you. Like, you need to buy this sword. It's a samurai sword. It's freaking 3 feet long.
This is his
and
sword
Gary buys
that,
it.
like, he is going to vanquish the evil in the world with. And, like, the whole speech at the beginning when, like, he showed up in the dialysis or whatever, like, he's talking about how, you know, he's God and he balances the universe, and, like, how Osama is just basically, like, a thorn in his side, and once he pulled the 9/11 shit, like, God couldn't let that stand. Like, he imbalanced the world, and so that's why he needs Gary to capture him but not kill him, because, you know, thou shalt not murder and all that. And so he just only wants Gary to go over and capture him. I don't know if we explain that, but it is explicit that, like, Gary only captures but not kills, but yet he wants him to have a sword. So sure, Gary buys a samurai sword off of the Home Shopping Network, and then
him and Marcy start playing Fruit Ninja.
Yes. Basically, they are chopping up stuff in the backyard. And yeah, and it's,
she's lobbing him oranges, and he's slicing them in midair.
Yes.
And so she starts asking him about, or he tells her about hang gliding, and she's just like, Gary, do you know how to hang glide? And he goes something like, no, I'll go to a mountain in Israel, because if I can fly, I'm in Pakistan. If I crash, I crash into the Dead Sea. And then he starts talking about salinity.
Again, it's like Rain Man. He's like...
Yeah. He's talking about how it's so salty that everything floats, so it doesn't even matter because he doesn't even know how to swim.
He can't swim.
Which he went on a sailboat without a life jacket.
Yeah. He did.
Dude can't swim.
He did. Lucky he crashed into some land.
Oh my god.
Okay, so yes, he goes and he buys a hang glider then, and then even asks, like, the guy, like, hey,
How many pieces do you think it'll take me to chop this in order to fit in my suitcase?
and the guy's like, well, it kind of comes in one piece. You shouldn't, like, cut it into pieces. And he's like,
Yeah, I think I know what I'm doing.
because he is a handyman, and he does.
No, he says,
saw it into different pieces in the yard.
He says, son, I can do anything. I am Gary Faulkner.
Yes,
I am the Donkey King.
he is the Donkey King. So
okay, but
he
right before
saws
that
it in
too,
pieces
as
in the
he's
yard.
no, as he's buying it, he asked the sporting goods guy, like, about a boombox.
Oh,
and he's
yes.
just like, you know, what kind of music should I be playing when I have my boombox set up? And the sporting goods guy is like,
says,
I don't think that's a smart idea. Like, it'll throw off your balance. And he's just like, no, what kind of music should I play?
I'm not
the
here
guy
for a
goes, "I
physics
don't-"
lesson.
Yeah.
And it's like,
he goes,
or
so the
spare
guy
me
just
the
goes,
physics lesson, I think he says. And it's like,
yeah.
well, you fucking asked.
So the guy just goes, I don't know, Tom Petty, Nic Cage. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
What did you want? It's not a bad answer. Tom Petty, R.I.P. Like,
for an American.
it's a
like,
real
gliding on a hang glider.
patriotic. Yeah.
Yeah. Stupidest
And
thing I've ever
free
heard.
falling. Like, come on now. You can get free falling
Perfect.
while
It was
you were
perfect.
literally free falling.
It was a perfect answer.
Fuck
Okay,
you,
so
Gary.
yeah, now he goes, cuts it up.
Yes, he cuts it up, and then he is in the airport, and we are treated again. Another
funny.
running
I still
joke.
like this
Another
movie.
running joke that has like a callback that comes up later is like him going to the boarding gate agent and saying like, "Hey, and she's like, "Sir, you can't come onto an airplane with a samurai sword." And he's like,
Do you know who I am? I'm Gary Faulkner. I'm on a mission from God, and if you're going to stand in my way, you're going to stand in God's way. Is that what God would want?
and she's like, "No, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what God wants. What I'm telling you is that you cannot come onto an airplane I don't know about Osama bin Laden. I don't know what you're talking about with Pakistan. You cannot get onto an airplane with a samurai sword. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, I'm telling you what I'm talking about.
He says something better. He says something better. When she goes, you can't bring a sword on a plane, he goes, tell that to George Washington.
Oh, yes.
Because he's very obsessed with people telling him to tell that to George Washington. What the fuck does George Washington have to do with taking a samurai sword onto an airplane?
Spoiler, it comes back later because he goes and to the thing. She says, sir, and she comes right out with it. She's like, sir, we've had this discussion before. I don't know what George Washington has to do with it. I'm still telling you the same thing that I told you the last time. You cannot bring a samurai sword onto an airplane.
Dude, our fans better like this episode. We are not like we're barely halfway through this movie.
People might watch this one. We're gonna save it till the end to tell you whether or not you should. But
yeah, okay. He gets to Israel and he's in front of these two Israeli boys with his hang glider set up, and he says some weird stuff to them. He says some weird stuff to him. He jumps off the mountain, falls apart. He falls immediately.
Yeah, he flies to Israel. He's got a new plan. He's gonna fly to Israel, jump off mountain. He meets like a couple little boys and then like goes running, takes off, crashes and breaks his leg.
I literally just said all that.
Yep. That's all the notes. I'm sorry, I'm just reading my notes, man.
That's fine. We don't get a fuck you necessarily, but when he's down on the ground, you hear him go, you fucker! Fuck this!
Yeah.
So you do get a couple of F-bombs.
Yeah. So he goes back to Marcy's. And
not unscathed, by the way, because now he has a broken arm and leg. And guess what, guys? He brought... do we get the daughter's name? I forget what her name is. Lizzie,
yeah. So he got Lizzie another gift. So this time he gets her, I believe I have it, but maybe you got the exact one. I got her a bottle of water with like in the shape of a cross, and he's like, this is from the fucking river from fucking Israel, or fucking Jesus was fucking baptized. Isn't that fucking cool? Or whatever.
What does he get her? I didn't write down this one.
A little mini bottle
with rocks
in it that says Israel rocks. So just like the little San Diego bottle of like San Diego rocks, he also has Israel rocks.
So, so after he gives them the gifts, though, they start talking, and he says that he loves her. And Marcy goes, I love you too, but you're on a mission from God. So again, she's like, she is in this 100%, man. She doesn't find it weird.
For some reason.
I don't get it.
Yes.
Okay, so they're at the bar, again, just Nic Cage and his two buddies. The friends leave, and Bin Laden comes back on the TV. God, what, did I miss something? Was there more?
I don't know if I have a whole lot of notes about this.
I was just going to say, God comes back, and they're in the bar. Now he's in the bar talking to God, and God's like, weren't you supposed to be doing something for me?
No,
looks like
the
you're
thing
quitting.
is, I think at that point when Wendy says that she loves him, that's when he is going to just give up on this and like commit to her.
Oh yeah,
that's what I.
And that's why God comes back at the bar.
Is because that's when God comes back, and so I have a couple quotes from this.
Oh yeah, all right. So I said the first one. Weren't you supposed to be doing something for me? It looks like you're quitting, because then God also says it really bugs me when men let women shit get in the way of men business.
Yes. Well,
man business.
You got to say it like Russell Brand.
All right, you say it then.
What is?
I can't do English accents. It really bugs me when men let woman shit get in the way of man business.
See, guys, this is our British accent. We got the fucking Gary Faulkner, Nic Cage accent down.
I am bad with accents.
It really bugs me when men let women shit get in the way of man business.
Oh, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. And then God they start arguing a little more, and God at one point says, I know everything. And Nic Cage goes, well, if you know everything, then why don't you tell me where to find Binny Boy? Because he calls Osama bin Laden Binny Boy.
Binny. He calls him Binny a lot, yeah.
Binny Boy. And God goes, I did tell you. He's in Pakistan, and you can't even get there.
Yeah. He's in Pakistan. We can't even get there. Yeah. And then I have a cageist... Well, a potential cageist that has Nick, every time that he's talking to God from now on, like he's borderline crying and breaking down, and he just screams like, I've been waiting for you to help me! But, like, again, he loses the Gary. Anytime, like, he starts to yell, he loses the Gary and he goes straight to Nick yelling.
It's not Nic Cage, though. It's still a different accent. It is not really a Nic Cage yell.
It's pretty Nic Cagey.
I'll throw in a clip here if I have to. This will probably be like the Deadfall ep where I throw in a lot of clips.
Yes. I've been waiting for you to help me!
So what part of I am everything, I know everything, do you not understand?
If you know everything, then why don't you tell me where to find Bitty Boy?
I did tell you, Pakistan, and you can't even get there. Now you're thinking about quitting. You're a disappointment to me, Gary.
I've been waiting for you to help me.
Gary, shut the fuck up.
Any more lines from the bar? Or should we get to Marcy's house?
I blew it! I was weak! I took my eyes off the prize and I blew it! I think that's in this scene. Or it comes up later when he gets to Marcy.
No, I think that would be to God.
Okay.
Earlier in the film, by the way, like he said he was gonna fix up a ramp because again Lizzie's in a wheelchair. So now he shows up drunk and he's at Marcy's house and she's like getting pissed off now, and especially about the ramp because he tore up the ramp, but now it hasn't been fixed.
Oh yeah. He's a handyman, so he should be fixing this ramp for her.
But the very next morning, even though he's probably hungover as shit, he's got that ramp fixed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
God.
All I have is a line that says drunk, and then it has ... Pakistan!
I don't know.
And then I have a more important job to do. But, like, I don't, yeah.
Well,
like,
I think this is when he goes to airport security, isn't it?
No, I think he's yelling, like, Marcy, because then he's drunk and he's talking to her, and she's like, you know, like, I thought you said you were going to stay here, and then he was like,
Pakistan! I have a more important job to do.
but like he's like being really drunk, and so
yeah,
that was also a potential cagiest where like he's just being really drunk Gary now. So
now he's back to the airport. God has reignited the flame. He's ready to go, and he gets pulled into airport security
again.
Yeah, and the guy, like, he's asking him what the hell he's doing or whatever, and Nic Cage starts telling him, well, I gotta go beat up Nic Cage, or I gotta go steal Osama bin Laden or whatever, and the airport security guy is
I wish Gary Faulkner went to go beat up Nic Cage. It's a much easier task.
The security guy goes, Osama bin Laden? And Nick goes, no, Harry bin Laden.
Yeah.
Of course Harry bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden.
Or Osama bin Laden. Oh, I fucked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, of course Harry bin Laden.
Power.
Of course Osama.
You can.
Nope. I keep in the mistakes. We're real, man. We're real people. We're not always perfect, just like Nic Cage is.
Bearing our hearts to you, listeners. Our loving, doting, beautiful.
Do you have more lines written down here? Because I have one more.
Sexy listeners.
Because the guy asked, like, why should I let Gary Faulkner into one of the hairiest places on Earth? Do you have this one written down?
No, I don't.
Okay, so yeah, because they're arguing back and forth. He wants to know why he should let him go. And Nick goes, well, do you believe in God? In America? And justice? And freedom? And just doing what's right? And it fucking works. The guy, like, looks dumbfounded, like, stamps his passport and is like, all right, see you later.
Oh, yeah, because he's trying to get directly into Pakistan. That's right. And he needs a visa. That's right. That's why he's in airport security this time. So he's no longer going to try to go from Israel to Pakistan. He just wants to get straight to Pakistan.
And
he does.
You can't.
Okay.
And now he's on the airplane, and he's having a really funny conversation with his, like, seat neighbor. Or whatever. I didn't write any of it down. Did you?
No.
But it was...
So I'm going to Pakistan to capture Osama bin Laden. Bring him to justice. God told me to do it. He didn't think I was being urgent enough about it. Thought I was giving in to temptation again, which has been one of my problems. Kept me from achieving certain things and stuff. But I'm going to tell you what. God kicked the ever-loving shit out of me. So, now, here I am, back on mission. I shouldn't be telling you this, but I already got to leave. You see, it turns out over here, people call Benny Boy a bearded one. So, that could be helpful.
Guys, we can't give you every quote from this movie.
I couldn't. I started doing that, and like I was only 8 minutes in and had a page and a half of notes.
Yes. Okay. I do have a couple notes here. So, all right, guys, we're gonna kind of cruise through this because not a lot happens in the back half.
This is
it
where the movie
really
falls apart,
slows
man.
down. The editing is like real weird at this point.
I will say this: if this was the movie, and it could have gone on another, like if it could have just been him.
Oh yeah, we needed the backstory.
If it could have been him failing to get into Pakistan the whole time, and not this other shit that comes. This would have by far been my favorite movie. I'm telling you, I was enjoying myself. I actually was laughing. I thought there were some funny jokes.
The jokes were working. The jokes were paying off, especially like the gifts were paying off. Like I didn't understand his relationship, but I was willing to look past it. It was like a very like kind of dark comedy, almost like along the lines of like Observe and Report kind of. With Seth Rogen, where it's like weird, bad shit is like happening, and it's a very unlikable protagonist, but like. You gotta follow him, and like some of these jokes are working.
You know what makes it work even more is the accent. If he had a straight Nic Cage voice, this would not have been nearly as fun. But it's because he's going so crazy. It's just like Deadfall with the weird accents and stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's what's going on here. But yeah, it dies off right here.
So again, he made a choice, and that's maybe why it's working. Okay, so here's like the rundown. He goes to Pakistan. He gets put up at a hotel, and he spends. What, like 60 days there? It's like at least a month.
Yeah, it's not very long. He
spends like a month in Pakistan just basically wandering the streets and trying to like look for clues and leads. And the one line that I have here is that he meets his two buddies, we'll call them for the rest of this movie.
The hotel guys?
The hotel guys. So he's got.
So yeah, be clear because he had two other buddies. Yeah, these are Pakistan buddies.
He's got some Pakistan buddies. He's got the hotel concierge. He's got the hotel security guy who's got like a gun on him at all times. He's got a taxi driver that he makes friends with. And
I laughed out loud at this part.
Who's his other friend?
He has a lot of friends, actually. See, this is where I say, like, he almost redeems himself. Like, he's racist.
And he meets, like, the meat guy.
But he starts to, like, make a lot of friends. And he, like, helps out a business and stuff. Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. So, okay. But, like,
I love this line.
Like, yeah, he goes to the like, guy and he's like,
I'm Gary Faulkner.
And then, like...
USA. By the way, got thrown USA.
USA.
And,
Gary Faulkner, USA.
And the hotel security guy, who's, like, a big guy with a gun, he's like... Gary Faulkner. And he's like,
No, not Faulkner, man. Faulkner. Just call me the G.
It was funny. It's funnier in the movie, just like...
Not Faulkner.
And, like, the guy can't pronounce Faulkner, so he just says, oh, Faulkner. Okay, Faulkner.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much I want. I wrote down a note before that, just about, like... When he was in the cab, he was asking the cabbie if he knew where the bearded one was, because that's what he's calling Bin Laden.
I heard that people call Osama the bearded one.
And he goes like, also, is there a Denny's in Pakistan? I wonder if the bearded one goes to Denny's.
Yes.
So
like, come on. Come on. So
a
then
lot,
he goes shopping. He like goes
a lot
to
of
a spice
racist shit
store.
happens here.
Yes. He like goes to a like meat vendor at one point and then like basically like teaches him how to grill meat, and then like he goes from having no customers to a ton of customers.
Because why, Brock? Because you have to talk to the meat.
Oh, and so did you write it down? Because I'm sure that this piqued your interest, but I don't know if I heard it correctly.
I just put that he talked to the meat. I didn't know there was a good line.
Did he say "thank you, baby girl"?
Thank you, baby girl. You gotta say. Thank you, baby girl.
I think he said thank you, baby girl to the meat.
We'll see.
And I was like, oh, is this a callback?
But here's like a couple of, I guess one racist thing. Like someone brings out a Coke and he like takes a sip of the Coke and like spits it out. He goes to like a spice shop and he wants to make fried chicken. Because again, the chicken in America is so much better. Chicken wings. But they don't have molasses. And the guys are like, molasses? Right? He goes, no, not jackasses, molasses.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't call you jackasses. I was saying molasses.
Like,
but so he got the spices. He helped that meat vendor out. He makes wings for the hotel workers.
He makes wings for the hotel workers.
As he bites one wing, he busts a tooth. I don't know why, but we get a huge scream. He breaks a tooth, and but the worker is just like, "Oh, don't worry, I know a dentist." And yeah, they pull out his tooth or something.
Gets his tooth pulled by like this like old dentist who like stands on his chest in order to do it. Yeah, and the concierge is like, "Oh, I have great dentist. He's the best guy." Takes him over there. Okay,
dude, we got a lot of scraping at the door yells right there. Like it's like,
yeah. That can be your Cage's moment as well.
Brock, this is not my Cage's moment. This whole film is my Cage's moment.
Then he smokes weed with dudes.
Yes.
After getting his tooth pulled because he got to numb the pain. And then I have a line that says,
I fucking love Pakistan!
Yep. And then he's high walking through the streets. He laughs at something, and we get a Nic Cage laugh. Kind of. Not really a Nic Cage laugh, but like a Gary Faulkner Nic Cage laugh.
A high Gary Faulkner laugh.
He sees these like women doing aerobics and hijabs, and he just stops and stares and laughs at them. He sees
racist
a little kid on like a donkey, like one of those like what do you even call them? Like those little like donkey rides, that,
machine
like,
horse or whatever.
Like,
that outside grocery stores, they pay 50 cents and the horse goes back and forth. It wasn't a donkey.
I don't know.
It was a little horse.
It was a little horse. It was
whatever.
Like a donkey. I think it was a donkey.
Machine donkey or horse thing that rides
like
back and forth.
Callback because he's a donkey king, and so he like stands at it at one point and like shakes it where the little kid is on it and like gets a kick out of that.
And then he gets to like this shop where there's a pinball machine with a bunch of kids playing pinball, but the pinball machine is broken. So Nic Cage, he's watched Happy Days. He knows all you gotta do is kick that pinball machine.
Dude,
boom.
Is that our high fucking ya?
Why? For
Does
one
that
punch?
count as our high effing ya?
Yep. It was a kick. One kick, Fonzied it, and he got the pinball machine working. After he got it working, he like flashes a bunch of cash for the kids. He's like, now who wants to play? Who wants to play pinball? And someone else an adult steals the money, takes off, and Nic Cage has to chase after him on a moped. It's a moped chase.
No. That guy's just running.
Oh, he's running, but Nic Cage gets on a moped. And
for 2 seconds.
Because he runs through like a freaking farmer's market. He hits a woman. A woman goes flying like 5 feet.
Abuse against women?
Yep, exactly. You knew where I was going. And like you see her lying on the ground. I think it was an extra. I don't know if he was supposed to hit her or not. But now the CIA.
Okay. Well. Then he chases the guy into a house. He chases the dude into a house, and like he loses him. And because the guy goes left, like he goes right.
Oh,
but then he hears a guy yelling.
A lady scream.
A lady screams, and he hears a dude yelling at this woman. He goes into the house, and it's like a guy yelling at his wife. We are led to infer, and he like tells him like,
"Hey, now I don't know what this young lady sees in you or did to you to piss you off, but like you should not treat her that way
or whatever." And that like at that point, like these 3 other dudes like hear an American man with a really high-pitched voice yelling at one of their comrades, and so like they come up behind him, and then he's like,
"Oh, you motherfuckers want to tumble, huh? Well, this is how it goes down."
And then he like draws his sword and like goes running after them, to which they want none of it.
All right, let's
and he chases them around.
Yeah,
and that's where the CIA basically like says, "Okay, so now we cut to the CIA, and the CIA are played by Rainn Wilson and then another guy. But the other guy, I actually want to look up his actor because he did a fantastic job.
Let's try to speed it up a little bit.
Yes.
But the CIA basically says there's this American that's botching our ongoing investigation. We don't know what that means.
They call him an American samurai.
Yeah, and the guy's like, an American ninja? And Rainn Wilson goes, no, that was a TV show in the 80s or something.
Yes.
It's kind of funny.
It's American Samurai. And they're played by Rainn Wilson, so Dwight from The Office, and Dennis O'Hare, which, just want to give him a shout out. Did a great job, Dennis. You were hilarious. Loved your performance. Good
Couple
job.
of notes here. Nick Cage
Welcome addition to the back half of this movie.
Nic Cage tries riding camel, falls off, goes and gets a donkey, because he's the Donkey King. He tries to hitchhike, but God's inside, and God kind of tells him again, "Look, are you running away?" So again, he kind of lights the fire under Nick. I don't know if you had any lines from that. Here is where the CIA. Oh, now he gets. This is where he get. This is actually where he got in the moped chase and went through the farmer's market, and this is where he hit the woman. So I was wrong before, but yeah, where you said it was like 2 seconds. I remember that now.
Yeah. Okay.
This is where he runs a woman over.
Captured by the CIA.
Yep. Exactly, and they send him back to the
they're
US.
like basically trying to strong arm him and intimidate him and like kick him out of there. They don't know what's going on with him, but he tells them too, and then they say like, okay, well, we're gonna ruin your life and make sure that you can never come back here again, and so he's
fine with it. He's like, okay, yeah.
So yeah, because he just wants out, I guess, or like wants an excuse to get out. So then he's saying goodbye to his hotel staff, and it's like a touching scene because like he's made friends with these guys, and including like the hotel security guard, which it took me till that long to like realize that that's what he was for this hotel, and the security guard like steps outside with him, and like is immediately shot at by like another dude who he assumes is Al Qaeda.
But the narrator tells us it was a big family.
Or the Taliban,
or
excuse me, the Taliban.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
And so that's where Nick jumps on a moped to catch after the dude.
No, a guy hops on a moped and he chases him in a scooter or in a cab.
What the hell is going on? So Nick runs away from the guy that's shooting through the hotel, jumps around
on a scaffolding. He's like, fucking
a very
scaffold.
suspicious-looking guy that's like looking at Nick, and when he sees Nick, the guy starts running away onto a moped. So that's why Nick chases him. That's what's happening here. And then he tries to chase him on the moped, falls off after like 5 seconds, but then he's running and he sees his cabbie friend, and he tells the cabbie friend, like, follow this guy on the moped, and the cabbie friend's like, oh, just like in the movies, and he's like,
yeah, like in the movies, except this is real fucking life.
Or something.
So they chase him far and wide, and Nic Cage sees God again.
For a
he
long
falls
time
asleep.
into the foothills.
Yeah, he falls asleep, and God's talking to him while he falls asleep while talking to God. Then the next scene is him hang gliding into a cave.
Yeah, but at some point,
it's like God's like
while
talking him to
he's sitting
sleep.
there,
Is
doesn't he have like a hallucination of Osama bin Laden, like on TV? He sees like
like a Cribs episode,
an MTV Cribs episode of like a dude who's like a black guy, like talking in like hip hop like terminology and like talking like a thug.
He's like, look at my cave wall here. I got a picture. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So now the next scene, after he fell asleep, kind of talking to God, he's hang gliding in by bin Laden. So you don't know, like, you think, okay,
into the cave.
Is this a dream? Is this him doing it?
This is just completely hallucinations at this point. I mean,
it is
for me.
Yeah.
But so
right. Exactly.
It canon? Is it like a known thing that Osama bin Laden was also on dialysis?
Apparently, towards the end, I guess, as he was getting weaker. Because, Nic Cage wakes up on dialysis next to bin Laden, so that's when you start to realize,
he's also on dialysis, yes.
This is kind of weird. But they get into a funny sword fight. Like, they hit each other's swords, and they go, my hands!
I do have a line that says,
Yeah, bitty boy.
All right.
And then he says, like,
let me see if I can explain it to you in words you can understand.
Like a robot, yeah. So he really wakes up now, and he's in a hospital. He gets deported.
Yes.
He goes to Marcy's. She said, hey, I set up some interviews, and all of a sudden there's a ring at the doorbell, and there are a ton of reporters wanting to interview him. And now Nic Cage Gary gets a big head, and he's doing all these interviews. He's sitting in a bar, and he goes,
in a bar, and
what
it gets real meta.
Did you write down the line exactly? Because I didn't.
I did not.
He says, they want to get me in a movie. Like, who are they going to get to play me? Tom Selleck? And then he says something like, well, what about that Nic Cage guy? Don't I look like Nic Cage from Con Air?
Yeah.
He says, and then they says to me the Nic Cage, and I say, oh, Nic Cage, he did Con Air. Don't I look like Nic Cage in Con Air a little bit?
And it's like,
He goes back by
Real meta right there.
He goes back by Marcy and says, Marcy, I still have to go to Pakistan.
No, he does not look like Nic Cage in Con Air.
No. He says, Marcy, I still have to go to Pakistan. Like, bin Laden's still out there. However, now there's a TV shot that bin Laden is dead. Obama's on there. He's talking about, it's the exact thing that Obama said when bin Laden was taken or found.
Yes.
But because bin Laden was buried at sea, Nic Cage is like, well, wait, why wouldn't they show us his face? He's still alive. Marcy, I still have to go and get him.
Yes.
And
to which Marcy tells him Gary, come back. And then he says,
don't worry, I will.
But then he gets on the plane, and does he give it up? He starts having flashbacks about him and Marcy, and he gives it up.
To a bunch of flashbacks. This is where I really didn't understand what the editing was doing. And then he comes back to Marcy, knocks on the door again, and then she's exasperated at this point. And then she's like, okay, yeah, come
This
in.
is the 5th time this has happened.
I guess.
You
find out that he went there 7 times.
Yeah. But I took that scene to mean with the flashbacks and stuff because they were all about Marcy. They were about Lizzie. They were about him loving her. Yes. I took it to mean that he gave it up and he went back to Marcy.
At that point in time, I guess.
Holy shit. We talked about that movie for a very long time.
For an hour. Yeah.
The movie was 90 minutes, 80 minutes, and we talked about it for almost 80 minutes.
Because we fucking gave it line for line for the most part. Okay. Then we are treated during the credits to the real Gary. Who's giving some interview footage and whatnot, and he's a little bit heavier set.
Nic Cage did say he gained weight for this
gray, and a relatively normal guy, relatively normal, but yeah, he did not have a voice, he did not have an accent, and then it gives us a script over the screen that says Gary is currently planning to use the money made from this film to buy a new kidney so he can continue his mission.
Yep. Nic Cage gained weight for this role, and he said he hated it. He said he likes his bod to be tight. All right, Brock. Holy frick. We still got...
Bureau and Mom and Dad would beg to differ.
He's also 62, so give him a break.
52.
52. I thought he was 60. Oh, Willem Dafoe was 62.
Something like that.
All right. Let's do our tropes. We got taco meat.
Ooh, Emily's baking pasta. I can smell it.
We got taco
get a
meat.
Belly full of pasta in a little bit here.
You know, the raw dogging and drugs, I'm counting the marijuana as drugs.
I actually did say smokes weed. Question mark.
We got flashbacks. I marked laughing too, so there must have been a point where we got a little maniacal.
We got some laughs.
Abuse of women and or children. We got a high effing yeah, which you added there, which was smart. And we got a hand wiggle during this fight with Bin Laden. He did a hand wiggle at one point.
Cheers. Yeah, he didn't high effing yeah Bin Laden, but he high effing ya'd that pinball machine. I don't know. If, he honestly, technically wears aviator shades, the American ones, when he's hang gliding.
I did not think that there was a lot of mumbling. I could actually understand him okay.
He mumbles a little bit. I caught it.
It's not as bad, though.
But it's mumbling in that, voice. So...
Brock, I'm curious. What is your peak
Did he yell and repeat something, though?
No.
Well, he yelled at one point in the cave like that.
Yeah, Benny boy.
So, debatable.
What? I'm curious. What's your Pete Cage? Because I thought for sure it was going to be between two moments, but I don't think either of them are yours.
Okay. I got a couple. But
all right. Do you have two? I have two. All right, you say one, then I'm going to say
I think
one.
I'm going to go with the cave scene where he drops the line
yeah, Benny boy, and then he says let me see if I can explain it to you in words you can understand.
Oh, yeah. Assalamu alaikum, Benny boy.
Malaikum salam, Gary Fuckner.
This is where you live? This shithole? What happened to the place I saw on TV?
What place was that, Gary?
Your crib, man! Don't you watch TV? You had all those photos with the terrorists, your own customized pinball machine?
What is pinball?
Don't fuck with me!
Gary, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
No, it's really very simple. Let me see if I can explain it to you in words you might be able to understand.
All right.
Because he's being patronizing, and that is my Pete Cage, is a patronizing as racist Nic Cage.
My Pete Cage, it's what got the story going for me. It's the dialysis scene where he's talking about the chicken wings. And he's talking about the can't quantify kick acidness.
Yes.
And what's your other one then? Oh wait, give me a pause break so I can insert that clip right here.
Some other reasons America's the best country ever, fastest cars. Now, some douche nugget pointed out that the Italians and the Germans make faster rides on account of their Ferraris and their Mercedes. Well, I'm talking about non-fascist automobiles. Also, I'm pretty sure more people kick ass here than in any other country. I mean, some people claim that you can't quantify kick-assedness. Those are usually people whose asses have been recently kicked.
Okay.
My other one was when he was talking to God, and he yells first he yells, "I've been waiting for you to help me," and then he says, "I blew it. I was weak. I took my eyes off the prize and I blew it." Or apparently, later when he's drunk and he yells "Pakistan," and then he yells, "I have a more important job to do." But he's drunk, and I forget exactly how it comes off, but I wrote it down for a particular reason because he was drunk and using the voice, and it just came out real.
I'll see if I can find it. If I can find it, I'll put it right here.
You're all-knowing, right?
Yeah, I am all-knowing.
Well, then why don't you help me? I mean, just like a drop, help a hint.
I blew it. I was weak. I took my eyes off the prize, and he saw it.
What prize? Who are you talking about?
I gotta get to Pakistan.
Pakistan? What are you talking about, Pakistan? I thought you were done with all that nonsense. What about moving in here with me? What about fixing the ramp?
I have a more important job to do.
Apparently that's a joke we're going with. My second P. Cage is immediately after the dialysis scene. It's when he's walking through the hardware store just being all racist and shit, but it's just it got me in the mood. I was happy. I was excited. So if I didn't put more clips in earlier, I'll put those clips right here as well.
Yeah, he goes on there is a scene. So we did the toilet, we did the shower. Why buy a shower head for people who don't buy shower or take
Something
showers?
about a faucet too at one point.
Yeah,
it'll be in here. It'll be in here, man.
He's got 4 or 5 of them where
it'll be in
he's
here.
an
I'll get
expert, but a real racist expert.
Why would you buy a shower head from a country that doesn't take showers? Don't buy that toilet. That toilet was made in Africa. Pygmies made that toilet, and they take small shit. Your turd, your potty, your poo, as it were, won't make it past the flusher. Yoo-hoo. Now, seriously, why would you buy a faucet from a country in the midst of a drought?
Was Nic Cage a good actor?
Okay. The film itself wasn't terrible. It was pretty entertaining. But coming into this, and you kind of touched on it a little bit of if Nic Cage hadn't done this voice and hadn't been this character, it wouldn't have been as fun to watch.
But is this a deadfall argument all over again? Why the hell
did he do this to this man? Again, why take Gary, who's probably relatively sweet? I don't know if he's as annoying as Nick would have you believe. And why turn him into an asshole? Because it's real easy to go over the top. I think
That's
it is
the problem.
easy to go over the top.
That's the problem.
So I don't see I think a good actor could have taken that, had some over the top moments, build up to that and get us there, but then also show us that you can get there and also hold back. He was balls to the walls, batshit the entire time. So
what's your answer? Jesus Christ.
I don't think that means that doesn't show me real talent. That doesn't
yes
show me
or
that
no?
You're a great actor. I still
okay, so
think
you're saying
that he's
no.
Phoning it in by just being over the top. So I'm gonna have to say no. I'm gonna have to say I still haven't seen it.
After I saw what Gary Faulkner was really like, immediately I texted you and was just like, Brock, look at this interview. You tell me if Nic Cage is a good actor, because he's not. He is too. Gary must have had an inflection in his voice for one sentence, and Nic Cage just fucking latched onto it, and that's his persona. It was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
Again, but
it entertained. But that doesn't equal.
It's the deadfall. It's the deadfall argument. Just because it's entertaining doesn't mean it was good.
Yeah.
All right.
And there were moments of this movie that I enjoyed, but I
love the first half.
I don't actually know if I can say that like I enjoyed the full movie itself.
Well,
and
we're there.
I get why it's like a 5.2.
It's a 5.0. What are you
5.0.
giving it on IMDb?
5.0.
I am too. I'm giving it a 5. Now, here's what my notes say. I said the first half, if they could have kept that like theme going, I would have given it a 6 or a 7 because I was enjoying myself. The second half,
once we got to Pakistan,
it was more like a 4.
Real interest.
So I'm giving it a 5. It's exactly what it is. I think it's a good rating for it. I enjoyed the first half. I would tell people, if you want to watch the first half.
But I don't even know if they need to watch the full movie.
No, we'll have a bunch of clips.
It is a crazy story, but like you can watch a clip from this movie too. You should watch a clip. There's some YouTube clips out there. I think the knife scene is definitely on there, and you can watch the knife scene on YouTube and get this movie from that one scene, the knife throwing scene at the bar.
So we are both 0 for 16.
Yeah.
Next film. I'm excited for the next one too now. I was not excited for this one.
Stoked up.
I didn't know what this one was. I know what G-Force is. It's it's the guinea pigs, guys.
G-Spot.
It was released in 2009. It's rated a 5.1.
Brian.
Guys, we are stuck in like the 5s.
The G-Spot?
Oh, God. We are stuck in the 5s and like the low 6s for a long time, people. So I think it's going to be really...
Yeah.
I think we're going to get some movies we hate. I think we're going to get movies we enjoy like this. Yeah. I don't know if he'll be a good actor. It's going to be...
I don't know if we're going to enjoy this movie, but...
No, not this one.
It's going to be something.
It's going to be interesting to judge him based off of voice performance rather than his acting skills.
It is definitely a change of pace.
Yeah. This movie was refreshing. That's why I texted you. I was just like, this is just refreshing. Like,
and it's
not
built.
A Castle period film.
Yeah. So G-Force, if for those of you who don't know, we're going to get the F into it. It is not the goddamn hamster movie. It is not the goddamn gerbil movie. It is the goddamn guinea pig movie, and you better get that fucking straight right now, or I will come and I will take you out in the parking lot and I will fight you. It is the guinea pig force. It is an elite task force of guinea pigs that the U.S. government hired to do the jobs that they can't do themselves.
We get it.
I hope.
Guys.
At least I hope. If I'm wrong, then I'm going to have to do a lot of walking back on the next episode.
What a strong departure from our last episode. This is going to be one of our longer episodes, but it is almost all movie-based, but... I hope you're still enjoying it. We're kind of taking your feedback into account. We understood maybe too much banter last one, so keep coming at us. Let us know. I told before.
I'm doing this for you, Brian. This is all for you.
I want our fans to be happy too. But guys, we are still... Okay, I'll just mute you when I edit this. We're still on Instagram. We're still on Twitter.
We're still trying to figure out a theme song.
We are at We Gauge Cage Pod. We are still on YouTube now. Tell your friends about us. Tell the Southern Hemisphere, man. What's happening?
We might actually have a Southern Hemisphere.
We got to the Dominican Republic.
Really?
But I don't know if that's Southern Hemisphere. Anything else, Brock, before we
head out? And if you're a follower from the Southern Hemisphere, for God's sake, dame un grito. Dame un grito.
Good luck with your... Easter eggs.
Good luck with your balls.
Good luck with your Easter huevos.
Or as Gary Faulkner, the G, would say,
good luck with your balls.
Good luck with your balls.
Good luck with your balls.
All right.
Good luck with your balls.